guys, I want to talk about this for one quick second. So I made a video a while back talking about this, but I can't get it uploaded. Something's going on with my system. I don't know, so I got to do it this way. That's why a lot of videos, my old video style, you don't want to talk about it. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this Marc Guggenheimer situation. I'm kind of late. So I'm going to put the article in here, and I'm going to give you my tidbits on it. So Arrowverse co-creator Marc Guggenheimer on not getting a call from DC studio bosses James Gunn and Peter Safran. I really waste my time. So automatically, let's talk about the waste of my time part. You created a universe, it was successful, be happy with it. But also come to find out he actually put $10,000 of his money into the shows because they wouldn't give him the budget to do it. Now, do I think he put $10,000 in one episode? No, he probably put $10,000 in probably a season, or he probably added it all together. I don't know. We don't know that. So let's read the article here. Guggenheimer was one of the creators of the Crisis of the Earth, the CW crossovers, and I even said it too once. We'll get to that. DC shows like Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Batwoman, Legend of Tomorrow, making such a feat happen no easy. It's not a job, mind you. A meeting, a conversation, a small. Recognize what I tried to contribute. You know, I only spent 9 years toiling in the vineyard after all. Wrote, let's see, he added, although working for DC had been a creatively fulfilling and involved a lot of advertising challenges and personal sacrifice, none of which seem to have occurred in any professional benefits. Simply put, the Arrowverse hasn't led to any other gig, so they just talk about that. Anyway, so I'm going to give you my tidbit on it, and I really want to talk about this anyway. Should James Gunn and Peter Safran contact him about this universe? Yes and no. They don't need to contact him, but they should give a gesture to contact him because he knows DC. What worked on Arrow in the Arrowverse may not work on film, but the one they did right. And say what you want, they were the first one that did this multiverse. It wasn't Marvel. It wasn't Image Comics. It wasn't, I'm talking about in TV form, mind you. It wasn't The Walking Dead. It wasn't The Game of Thrones. It was none of these. It was the multiverse began, if you talk about comic book wise, industry, was Crisis on Infinite Earth. Kevin Feige, I kid you not, probably saw that and said, that is cool. And you know what got him the idea to the Spider-Verse No Way Home? Was when they got the Flash, Barry Allen's Flash, to meet the Barry Allen of the movies. I kid you not. That's probably how that went down. And he probably watched that and said, this is what we need to do. And the ideas came from the TV because they were the first one that did it. On that scale, you need to contact him. You should have called him and said, how did you do that? What made it work? What was your idea? Pick his brain. And I have a big issue with James Gunn as it is, but I have a big issue with James Gunn, Peter Safran. More so not Peter Safran, he's just being a producer. I have an issue, and he just handled the business side. I have an issue with James Gunn and David Zaslav. But, they built into it, and he probably won a ride. James Gunn should have called him. James Gunn got this writer room. I hope it works, but if one film bombs, that's it. They got to get rid of him. The problem I have with this whole thing is they should have contacted him, but also he should have realized they don't have to and not get sour grapes about it. But if you really think of the grand scheme of things, he's probably sour at the fact that Marvel copied his idea, which they did. He's probably sour at the fact that everybody's now doing the multiverse. You're probably saying, no, the Spider-Verse did it first. They came out around the same. Hold on. Spider-Verse came out in 2009. Let's look at when Crisis came out. Because it could have been both. So, the television. They came out all around the same time. But the Crisis came out first. Crisis came out 2019, and the Spider-Verse came out later in December of 2019. So they both did it. But if you want to talk about who did it on the grand scale in a live action format, in a comic book setting, that was Crisis Infinite Earth. Then the Spider-Verse came in and kind of showed you how to really, really do it on a film scale in an animated form. But the live action showed you how they can really do it. But people were talking about that for so long. The Arrowverse was the most talked about thing. And the biggest problem that I have, as me as a person, is get that guy. They know how to create buzz. And it worked. People were talking about the Arrowverse. When the DCU wasn't doing nothing, the Arrowverse was there picking up the pieces. Because the DCU was fucking it up. You had the DCU just screwing things up on one side, but you had the Arrowverse trying to pick things up and trying to put things together and have them like Connect 4 and have people, fans like, look, whatever they do on films, they do things on film. But what we're doing over here at TV, and I like that because you have two of both worlds. You can always have that Barry Allen character for either worlds connect, and you can only do that in a TV film landscape. If James Gunn was smart enough and was a true comic book fan, you would do that. When I saw that on Crisis Infinite Earth, I said, Marc Guggenheim and team, they understand, they got it. When it got Barry Allen into the damn films, in the TV show, I didn't like it. I said, fuck that. But then when they did a Crisis Infinite Earth, I understood. I said, now I know why he did it. They could have did it with anyone else, but it worked perfectly with two Barrys. It's just perfect. And it makes sense on film. Now it makes sense. So it makes sense. But see, what James Gunn wants to do is have everything connected. No, we don't want things connected. We want separate things. I want a live action show of a different version. I want different characters. Because when you do a big event like that again, which we'll never see that again, we can have that at Crisis Infinite Earth again. And it worked because in a comic book land, in TV form, it worked. It worked. And here we are in 2023, and it seemed like they're just trying to follow what Disney's doing, and they're failing on multiple fronts. But I do agree that they should have called them. The writer teams that they had in Arrowverse, they were fans. James Gunn is like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And like, he doesn't really know what he wants to do. He doesn't. So I that's just me on the hand. And I say it to this day, and this is me, and I'm gonna say this till I'm blue in the face. They should never get two Batmans. And that's why I was like, they should have two Batmans in one TV in one film. The Batman's different. But you can have that Batman always connect to the Matt Reeves Batman. And you could just have that Batman on film, on TV, on a TV budget. And you can constantly do that. And you can have the Matt Reeves film stays in the Matt Reeves film. That will extinguish the two differently. If you get what I'm saying. It's a whole mess of things right now. And it's like, oh, we're having this, we're having that. They're having so much that you kind of say just, oh, whatever. I'm still on the fence of just making Matt Reeves Batman fucking part of the DCEU. Or the DC universe. They don't want to do that for some reason. They're doing the same shit they did with the Nolan films. They're like, okay, yeah, we're doing a new Batman. I'm like, why? Yeah, we're doing a new Batman. I'm like, no, you got Christian Bale, who everybody loves that Batman. Just follow that Batman. No. I'm like, y'all gonna lose. And they lost. They lost big time. Because you had a beloved Batman and a beloved universe, and you said no because Nolan said no. And I'm saying, like, who owns the IPs? Oh, Warner Brothers. Fuck what they say. They're not bringing in the money. Because Nolan Batman, at that time, I don't know now, but at that time, Christian Bale's Batman was the most successful superhero film of all time back then. You put Nolan's name on a Batman film, it will still make money to this day. But back then, it made billions of dollars. It was guaranteed $1 billion hit. No film came close to that till Iron Man 3. Then other films started taking place to that. But for that, it was only Batman. It just doesn't make. It's like, bruh, it's common fucking sense. Fucking goons run this fucking show. I'm serious. And James Gunn, I pray to God that he knows what he's doing. I do think, but back to Marc Guggenheim, I do think they should have called him because the man made a successful universe. And what they did with the Crisis of Infinite Earth, with all those TV shows, with all those shows, with everything he did, even the movies. And, it worked. It worked. To me, that is fan base. If somebody asks me, hey, Johnson, are you gonna make a DC show? So yeah, a DC universe. Yeah, of course. Film, yes. Who are you gonna contact? First, I'm gonna contact Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, the creators of the DCAU. And then I'm going to contact the Arrowverse and ask them to give me bullet points and bullet prints and get their ideas and kind of wrap it up into a bow and see how they did that and do that. I will definitely ask Bruce Timm for his input on Batman, and I will definitely ask for his input a little bit on Superman. I'll ask Marc Guggenheim how did he do all this and do that, and ask for bullet points, and then I'll go into it. When they're like, oh yeah, James Gunn's like, oh, this is my passion. I'm like this. I'm like, yo, you're right. I don't care what you do. You stick to one property and you share the wealth with everybody else. Because if everything falls into the James Gunn thing, it's not going to work. Superman with James Gunn, not a good combination. You thought Zack Snyder's were bad. Wait till James Gunn get a hold of Superman, which he has. Writing is one thing, directing is another. And it has to co-assign with his universe, the Suicide Squad. I don't know. But yeah, guys, I see where he's coming from. I understand where he's coming from. But yeah, this is a deadline report, and yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him, but hey, it is what it is. But as always, guys, like, subscribe, peace, have a Johnson day. I'll see you guys in the next video.